Hello and welcome to Tech with Heart. I am your host, Michelle Calloway. Tech with Heart's all about empowering entrepreneurs so that they can embrace technologies, the systems and strategies to stay competitive and relevant in today's rapidly changing digital environment. And so with that, one of the things that we can do as online small business owners is to use messaging to attract people to come to you like a magnet. And the thing is, though, you need to kind of know what messaging will work so that you can attract those clients. And so that's why we have a very special guest. His name is Gary Howarth. He is a serial entrepreneur. He has started a number of businesses, including a video email platform, and he has sold materials on 4 different continents and created multi-dollar sales for 3 different companies. He's now a coach and consultant, and he wants to make sure that he's teaching what he's learned over the past 30 years to help small business owners and entrepreneurs succeed at what they love. Yes, businesses hire Gary to remove the overwhelm and focus on the strategies that will have a positive impact on cha-ching profitability. So welcome to the Tech with Heart stage, Gary.
Oh, well, thank you, Michelle. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I am so glad you said yes to this interview because I've known you for a while now. I know your heart is in the right place. And that is one of the things that small business owners need, is someone that they can trust, that has their back, that actually cares about their success and doesn't just want to do work for them, take their money and go away, right? So Gary, I know you very well, and I'm very thankful that you said yes to this interview. Let's talk about that messaging. That messaging is so critical, right? If advertising messaging isn't working and it's not converting prospects into customers, what do you think could be wrong?
Oh, a number of things. You really need to start and look at what most companies do. And everyone takes a look at the tactics for advertising or marketing. They may be advertising on Facebook or Google Ads, or doing a direct mail piece, or they're talking to somebody at a networking group, or whatever that happens to be, their elevator pitch, all that. It all comes down to having the right message. Because all those things can be great ways to generate and drive business. But if you don't have the right message that is going to resonate with people, now you're dead in the water. So one of the things that I have put together, I have something called the conversion equation. And the conversion equation really consists of 4 parts. There's interrupt, engage. The 3rd part is educate, and the 4th part is the offer. And so take those one by one and kind of give everyone a little background. But before I start that, there's 2 really keys that drive all marketing, no matter what business you're in, no matter what service you provide, no matter what products you provide. And the first one, and you might want to write this down if you can, it's the problem that people have and they don't want. What is the problem that they have? What's keeping them up at night? What is driving them crazy? And the second part of that is the result that they want but don't have. Now, the result that they want that don't have, that's what you provide. That's your product, that's your service, that's your methodology of reaching out to people. So you have those two key components. Now, how those fit into the conversion equation is really key. So in the conversion equation, I mentioned that the first thing is the interrupt. The interrupt, it answers the question, the problem that the prospect has, but they don't want. For example, worked with a child psychologist, and all his website and everything was very generic. In most cases, if you look at any particular industry, people use a lot of platitudes. I mean, we've been in business since 1982. We're the best. We provide great service, all these things. And they're all phrases that every single one of your competitors could use. Really, there's nothing to differentiate you from anybody else. And when there's nothing to differentiate you from anybody else, then people aren't going to be buying on value. They're going to be price shopping. And so now you're stuck at just competing on price because there's nothing that sets you apart. And, that's what really kills many businesses. And then they think they need to discount, and you have this spiral that keeps going down until you're not making any money. And it hurts. It hurts. So with the conversion equation, you have the interrupt, which is really the problem that people have. And with this clinical psychologist, he worked with belligerent children. And the main headline was, are you sick and tired of dealing with your belligerent child and not having them listen to what you have to say and do? And the people who are in that position, okay, they don't want to be there. That's their problem. That's what's causing them issues. So that's their headline. And then you have a subheadline. And that part is the result that they want and don't have. And so in this particular case, basically, I'm ad-libbing, but if you had an answer for how to solve that within the next 60 seconds with a strategy that will, make your home much more peaceful, would that be of interest? And so you have that subheadline, and now you have an offer. And he put an offer down there, which was, here we have several tips that you could implement immediately within the next 60 seconds that'll help resolve your problem. And all they had to provide was their name and their email address. So it was a no-risk offer. Really, they didn't have to pick up the phone. They didn't have to talk to anybody in fear of being sold. But in this case, he was able to give them some information that they really wanted to help solve that immediate problem that they had. Right. So the messaging, it has to be compelling. It has to touch. It has to touch the real problem and what's keeping people up at night. That's really.
And Gary, I just want to also just mention too that, when it comes to those headlines and those subheadlines, addressing the problem and then the solution and trying to uniquely differentiate yourself to be the one that they click on when they're searching, of course. So it's good to know not only the problem that your audience is having, but also some keywords that they're searching for when it comes to finding those solutions. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that definitely is a key part of any online messaging, whether it's your website, a landing page, a squeeze page. And oftentimes a squeeze page is a lot more effective than an overall website.
And I'm going to I'm sorry, I'm just going to jump in there because I love what you're saying, but not everybody even understands that. So I'm just going to simplify this real quick. A squeeze page is a form of a landing page that is specifically built to just focus on people who clicked on a link and went to that place where they saw information on the search engine and they went there. It's not to provide them with the entire menu of your website. It's just to keep them on that page, get them to focus on the call to action, which hopefully that's what they're going to do, is click on that call to action, and then you'll funnel them through to the next page. And that's what they call squeeze. It funnels them down, squeezes them to take action. So there's no like other things that they could get distracted with on that page.
Very well said. Yeah, and that's the thing. You only want to have them to take one action. And basically, the purpose of the offer or that call to action is to get them into your email list and get them into your sales funnel. Because now, once you have their interest, you're providing something that is of value to them that they want, which is why they opted in. Now you have the potential to be able to market them and nurture them into becoming a paying customer.
Can I interject one more time? I'm so sorry, Gary. It's just, I really like what you're saying.
No.
This is important. I mean, because back to the headline and the subheadline. Okay, so we talked about the need to know their problem so that you can figure out how your solution is exactly what they need and say it in a way that's unique and different from your competitors. But the other thing is that there's a lot of tools out there that small business owners can use to like do what we call A/B testing on headlines that are going to show you whether or not your message is indeed resonating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use some of those tools yourself to kind of test the waters, Gary?
I have, and I suggest that to my clients too, because you never really know. You think you know, and you have a very good idea of what's going to resonate with people. For example, with the problems, there's a million issues that people are confronted with, but you need to think about what are their problems that relates to your product or service. And there's always more than one. And so you could have one landing page or squeeze page that addresses one, and then another one that addresses another hot topic issue for them. And depending upon the day, you never know which is really going to be top of mind. And so running a side-by-side test and having two of those really helps. And then once you get the results from that, you'll see if one performs better than the other. Then you can make changes. You skip the one that's not performing as well, and then you make adjustments to the one who is performing well. Then you could do another A/B test with that, and you just keep perfecting the messaging that's working.
That's a very good point. Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying on that, because I know that not everybody falls into the same bucket, right? You have to make sure that your messaging, in order for your messaging to be more effective, on top of knowing obviously the problem that you're trying to solve and presenting your solution in a way that's uniquely different from your competitors, right, you really want to know that your message is speaking directly to the heart of somebody, because buying decisions are made off of an emotion. And then that factual data is what supports that emotion. So you can talk about that. That's like a whole marketing funnel conversation. We're more or less talking about just that initial message. Is your initial message compelling enough? Is it resonating enough? Is it relatable enough to whomever is looking at it? So that's why it's really good to know as much as you possibly can know about your target audience and their pain points. What about offers? Yeah, what about offers, Gary, when it comes to offers? I know you talked about landing pages, squeeze pages, one call to action. What makes a compelling offer?
A compelling offer is something where people look at that and see it and they ask themselves a question: I'd be crazy not to take advantage of this. You know, typically it's going to be some type of information. You know, it's either going to be a white paper or something that really addresses the problem that they have or that you state on that landing page or squeeze page. And because if that caught their attention, then you're going to give them some immediate answers to what's bothering them. And the real key to that is why information is so good. For example, an offer to call me for a free consultation, it is not very good because it only addresses the people who are ready to buy now or buy today, in what I call the now buyers. And typically that's only 1 to 3% of people. And so what happens with the other 97%? They're not going to take any action. So you're not going to be able to collect their information. You won't be able to market to them at all because you don't have them in your database. You have no way of knowing who they are. And so the compelling offer is really to drive people into your database.
And so the compelling
that's
offer,
the whole purpose.
yeah, so the compelling offer that you're talking about does or does not have to have a dollar value associated with it.
No, not necessarily, but it does have to provide a value in relation to the problem that they have. And
So I'm sorry, would you say a compelling offer is also, you could also use a lead magnet as a compelling offer just to get that person's information to be able to nurture them through an email marketing sequence? Absolutely.
In fact, the compelling offer really is a lead magnet. That's what it is. There's a number of words to use for the same thing, but essentially, and you brought up an excellent point, that's exactly what it is. And so whether it's a book that you've written and you want to provide a PDF of it, or maybe a chapter of a book that is applicable to this particular problem for people, and they want to learn more about that particular area, you can provide that. Even including articles that you may find elsewhere that could really benefit them, and then be able to submit that along with your critique and input upon why this is important and how it fits. So you don't even have to have all your own content. You can still use, and you properly refer to, say, if you got something from Forbes and they had an article that really addressed this, and then once they sign into that, then you just copy and show this a Forbes article, but you have to give your own review of that and why it's important and why it's beneficial to the reader.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, guys. If you're tuning in right now and you want to think of some clever lead magnet type content to create, Gary just listed a few. You can also even create a video or a mini video series or something that is just super quick. It's digestible from the user's point of view, but it gives them value so that they want more. That's the key here, is that irresistible offers that are easy to make online are usually the very low risk. Can you talk a little bit more about the risk and need to address risk in people's minds, Gary, when they're looking at your stuff online? Because it's a huge thing. It's a barrier.
It's a huge barrier. And in order to, the main goal that a lot of people have, if they have a website or something, they want people to come in and they want people to either opt in to their list or whatever. But everyone's being bombarded with so many messages today. We get over, and I've read a number of times, 3,000 or more images from various advertisings constantly. Even if you look around your room, I'm on an Apple computer, there's an Apple there. Okay, that's a message. It doesn't matter where you go, you're constantly seeing something. You're being bombarded in your emails, you're being bombarded by billboards. You stop at a street corner. There was one day I counted in town 20 different images or messages for people, saying bye for me. I mean, we're just being bombarded. So it's really important to stand out. People are hesitant to pick up the phone and talk to somebody in fear that they're going to be sold and they're going to hear a pitch, right? And so they're hesitant to do that. But if you give them a risk where you don't have to give all your personal information, and you can still get some value, typically with just a first name and an email address, that's not bad, because if you get something you don't like, even with that email address, you can unsubscribe.
Exactly. And I think that that's important to be as transparent in the upfront as possible, saying we promise not to spam you. There's that risk reversal. If you are collecting money, let's just say you're making a very low offer, that's what they call an easy yes offer on the squeeze page. You can also say, you get 2 weeks, guarantee period or whatever, so money back guarantee. You can address people's thoughts, fears around what if this isn't what I think it is, because so many people have been hoodwinked and they're just so over it. Like you said, they're afraid of being sold to, but they're genuinely interested enough to give you their information. But now you're asking them to give up a little of their money. What can you do? So think about those types of things. Remember what works for you when you're shopping online, and then try and take those same kind of principles and put them into your funnels, or, reach out to somebody like Gary or myself, and we can help you see what is maybe not working. Because sometimes you think it's all your messaging that's not working. Well, maybe it's actually not only your messaging. Maybe there's some components to the tactics that you're using or the technical tools that you're using that is keeping you from being successful with your offer. Right, Gary?
Absolutely. And one of the things that you mentioned, which is really important, is to understand what objections people may have to doing it and addressing some of that in your copy.
That's a super
by
smart.
Copy, I mean whatever you write on your particular medium, whether it's a website or a landing page or even a brochure that you would hand out, so that they have a very clear understanding about what it is. And because a lot of people think they'll get that and then they're afraid they're going to be upsold or whatever. I've recently, I went on a website to buy something, it seemed reasonable, and I ordered that. And well, before you can continue, you need to read all of this and watch this, 15-minute video before we'll even let you go to the next part. I don't like those. I think it's a bit deceiving, and I would never recommend that to any of my clients.
So that brings me back to why Tech with Heart exists. So Tech with Heart, remember, is all about empowering entrepreneurs to be successful, but it's all about how we're using that technology to build human relationships. If you want people to believe in you and trust you, don't be sneaky like that. Where if you're going to have them watch a 15-minute video before they opt in, you say it'll take about 15 minutes. So that you're setting the precedent and you're being transparent. So keep remembering that there is a person, a human being on the other end there that you're hoping to connect with online, and think about them as a person, not a prospect or a statistic or a number. They are a human being, and try to be as relatable as possible. Gary, our time is coming to a close. So I want to make sure that we get a chance to let people know how to reach out to you, because again, you are a heart-centered technology expert and business advisor. So please share, how can people reach out to you?
Well, 2 ways. You can go to my website, which is garyhowarth.com. That's GaryHowarth.com. And then if you wish to email me, you can email me at gary@garyhowarth.com. And those are the 2 best ways of getting in touch with me. All the work that I do and talk about messaging, you can get a good background idea by going to the website. And another thing that we offer for people, in addition to one-on-one coaching and group coaching, is also an online business academy. And for people who are watching this, we do have a special offer for that. So if you're interested, you could send me an email with request, and in the subject line, you can put Tech with Heart, and I know exactly what to do to give you a discount on
And
that.
we appreciate that, Gary, because you are, again, very heart-centered and you genuinely want to see small businesses succeed. It's just so frustrating when you see a really incredible business not be successful in today's digital era when it's so possible. Anything's possible. Gary, one last phrase or thought that you would like to leave impressioned upon anybody tuning in to the Tech with Heart show today.
The number one thing is to really think about the problem that your clients have and they don't want, and the result that they want and don't have. Those two things, no matter what marketing you do and all the extra stuff and wherever you do it, and whether it's an online or offline, those are the two big issues. And you hit those two correctly, you're going to be very successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary. And if you're tuning in today and you would like to be a part of a community of forward-thinking entrepreneurs, but yet heart-centered entrepreneurs, please go check us out at techwithheartnetwork.com. We would love to have you join us. And if you're a business expert and you have some really valuable insights to share as to what is working in the world of online business today, please, we'd love to hear from you and possibly interview you on the Tech with Heart show. Go to techwithheartnetwork.com and reach out to me, Michelle Callaway. And until then, here is to your success.